Welcome to Flip the Grit Switch, the podcast for high performers who know the real work starts after the win. I'm Nika Hill, speaker, strategist, and the pivot master. I built my resilience in one of the grittiest industries out there, waste and recycling. Scaling and selling that company taught me how to turn pressure into power, and now I'm handing you the resilience playbook. Each episode, we dive into real stories, bold strategies, and nervous system grounded tools to help you pause with intention, pivot with clarity, and rise resilient again and again. Resilience is a switch. Let's flip yours. There's a Jay-Z line that drops like a lightning strike. I'm not a businessman. I'm a business, man. And tell me that doesn't make you sit up a little straighter. Now, I'm not a big fan of Jay-Z's music, but that line, when I heard it, I was like, oh, yeah. And let me tell you, it's not about ego. It is about energy. It's the moment you realize your value isn't in the job description. It's in the seat you take at the table. And sometimes, well, let me say this, you don't get invited to the table. Sometimes you find the room and you walk in anyway. Well, let me tell you about my experience. I want to take you back to 2001, New York City, post 9/11. There was a private meeting. 30 or so of the top executives in hospitality. We're talking all the big names, all the brands were there, the Hiltons, the Marriotts, the big dogs. And I found out about this private meeting and I was like, I have to be in there. I have to know what's going on with the industry. No badge meant no entry. Well, guess who didn't have the right badge? Or any badge for that matter? Me. But I went. I found the room. I went. I asked to be let in. And you know what? They let me in. I sat down at the biggest conference table I had ever seen in my life. And I was silent. I was thinking, stay quiet. Don't get thrown out, and make polite head nodding movements. And so these guys started talking. They were talking crisis response. They were talking shifting systems, market panic, and I'm listening and I'm realizing something very important. None of this was new to me. I had spent my whole life in the hospitality industry. I knew everything that they were talking about, the strategies that they were talking, and I realized they were not smarter than me. They weren't more qualified. They just acted like they belonged. They had set a standard for themselves. And that's when the switch flipped. I wasn't there to observe. I was there because I had value and I knew it at that point. And I think ownership starts with that moment, not with some title. It starts the moment you believe you are just as capable, if not more capable than those around you. And so I want to do a quick check-in. Where is your next room? The one you think you need permission to enter. And I want you to pause the overthinking for a second, because what if the only person who needs to green light that move is you? That's something to think about, right? So I think there are 3 shifts to becoming the business, as Jay-Z says, right? This isn't about being louder. It really comes down to clarity. And here's how I think about it now. When you bring the value, not the doubt, your energy introduces you before your mouth even opens. When you show up, you contribute, things change. The energy shifts. The second thing is own the conversation. Leaders originate, they don't echo. They speak their mind. And look, it's not always correct, but if it's come to you in a particular way, there's a reason behind it. You can usually justify why. And someone may say, hey, that won't work. But if you are originating and saying honest things that others are hesitant to say, that puts you in a whole new category. And the third thing is let results talk. Evidence builds reputation, reputation builds influence, and influence changes rooms. So owning your presence is not arrogance. In my opinion, it is alignment. And if anyone tells you differently, you tell them what you think. So Let's get practical. I want you to think about one situation this week where you usually play small. A meeting, a pitch, a decision, a conversation that matters, whatever it is. Before you walk into that moment again, I want you to tell yourself, I belong here because I bring value here. And say it like you're reminding the ground who's walking on it. Okay? This is you doing what I call flipping the grit switch again. Less apologizing, more authority. And there's a reality we forget. People aren't drawn to everything being perfect. They're drawn to conviction. You don't need to hustle for a seat at the table because you already have lived experience. You've earned that seat. And if there isn't a seat, you know how to find the door. You've proven you know how to walk in. Make a seat. I'm going to leave you with a closing thought. You're not your resume. You're not the last job you had. You're not the permission you're waiting for. You are the value. You are the business. Act accordingly. We're just warming up. So, this is Mika Hill signing out, reminding you, go ahead, flip your grit switch. Take care. Thanks for being here today. If this episode flipped something in you, share it with someone who needs that spark and leave a quick review so more high performers can find it. I'm Mika Hill. It's your grit switch. Time to flip it.